guys, welcome to Charmy's Bookcase, where I, Charmy Terrell, review and discuss books I've read. This week, I'm going to discuss my favorite books from these series. Leigh Bardugo's Shadow and Bone series, Marissa Meyer's Lunar Chronicles, and N.K. Jemisin's The Broken Earth series. This video will contain minor spoilers. I won't go too much detail into the book, because then this video will be way too long. I will give a brief summary of the series, then my opinion, and then the ranking. So, without further ado, let's get into this. First off is Leigh Bardugo's Shadow and Bone series. The series consists of 3 books: Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, Ruin and Rising. As for book titles, I love them. I love the constant 3-word title and the sing-songy feeling it gives me. This series follows a girl named Alina in a world where there are people with magical abilities. In some places in this world, these people are praised, while in others they're condemned. Alina lives in the country of Ravka, one of the few countries that allow these magical beings called Grisha to live. And Ravka is split into 2 by a gaping scratch they call the Unsea, filled with darkness and evil creatures. As you can see, the placement of the Unsea is a bit of inconvenience for them. Alina discovers that she is one of the Grisha, a sun summoner, being able to summon light and all that. There are many different Grisha types, and I don't have time to explain them all to you, but they are all very powerful. The Ravka government want to use Alina's powers to get rid of the Unsea, but things don't go as planned. That's basically the premise of the entire series, stretched out into 3 books. Overall, I really enjoyed the series. It's not a complicated read, meaning you won't have to burn your eyes out staring at a single page, thinking what the did I just read. I like that the story is filled with Russian influence through their names and architecture. Out of all 3 books, I would have to say the last one was my favorite, Ruin and Rising, then Shadow and Bone, and lastly, Siege and Storm. Siege and Storm really suffered from second book syndrome, where nothing much happened and it really dragged on. The character, Nikolai, carried this whole book on his back. He was the only reason I kept reading. Ruin and Rising was exciting and action-filled, with a satisfying finish. Shadow and Bone really immersed you into the world. Being that it was the first book, it was a great introduction to this world. For those starting to get back into reading, I suggest this series. Next up is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. This is another series I greatly enjoyed, consisting of 4 books: Cinder, Scarlet, Crest, and Winter. All of these books are fairy tale retellings, only set in a futuristic world where there are beings like cyborgs. Cinder for Cinderella, Scarlet for Red Riding Hood, Crest for Rapunzel, and Snow White for Winter. Our 4 different heroines bring down a fascist regime stationed on the moon. It is filled with twists and turns that I did not see coming. Cinder is half human and half cyborg. Scarlet is a sharpshooter, Crest is basically a hacker, and Winter, well, she's a princess. Out of all 4 books, I'll have to say Winter is my favorite. I love the relationship between Winter and Jacqueline, her love interest. Honestly, I love these books in the reverse order they were released. Winter first, then Crest, followed by Scarlet, and then Cinder. These books just got better and better, and not a complicated read out of the bunch. Again, I recommend this series for people who are just getting back into reading again. Last but not least is N.K. Jemisin's The Broken Earth series. This series consists of 3 books: the 5th season, The Obelisk Gate, and The Stone Sky. This series follows an older woman, Essen, in the midst of the world collapsing. We go through her traumatic childhood that greatly affected her emotionally, mentally, and physically. She and certain other people have the ability to manipulate and redirect kinetic energy in order to negate or create seismic events. Her daughter is taken from her, and she must travel across the country to get her back. I would say the writing style in this series is quite complicated, but I still loved it. I will say the series is pretty graphic and doesn't hold back when it comes to violence. The first book, the 5th season, is by far my favorite. There was a big twist at the end that I didn't see coming, and in second place I would probably put The Stone Sky. I cried at the end of that book. I'm still conflicted about that book. It makes me think, at times I hate this book, and other times I love it for the way it makes me feel, but it's such a sad ending. So honestly, if a book does that to me, it has to have at least first and second place. I would say The Obelisk Gate is last, and I think it also suffers from second book syndrome with me. I strained to get through it. I would say if you're going for a happy ending, then I don't recommend this series. This is a soul-crushing series, but I still loved it nonetheless. Have you read any of these books? And what are your thoughts on them? What was your favorite? Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell to be notified every time we drop new content. If you want to follow our social media, they will be linked in the description box below. Bye! See you later!